What's happening, YouTube? Hey guys, I just wanted to do a real quick video. I was thinking about the recent pro-Second Amendment rally that took place nationwide on February 8th. Mine locally was here in downtown Indianapolis. There was a decent turnout, but honestly, I think there could have been a much better turnout. That's the purpose for this video. I want to try to brainstorm with some like-minded people, get some feedback, see what you guys think about my ideas. Now, before I get started, let me be very clear. I am well aware that I'm not a fucking expert on this topic. I'm well aware that my way is not the best, the only, or the way. These are just ideas. Don't be a dick in the comments. That said, this recent pro-gun rally that took place on February 8th happened to be on a Friday. I get the idea behind it being on a Friday. I understand that we want the legislators to be in session at the state capitol building. I get that. But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember hearing a single solitary politician utter a word about the Second Amendment rallies that took place on February 8th. Now, if they did, I'm not aware of it. It very well could be that they did. I personally think the overall goal is media coverage. The better chance of having good media coverage is in numbers. So if we've got several thousand people, let's say 3,000 people that show up, that's going to increase our likelihood of having local media coverage. Now, we had decent media coverage at this last one, although it wasn't great. The better local media coverage we have, the higher the likelihood that we get national media coverage. And at the end of the day, national media coverage is what we want. We want these politicians to be sitting at home in the evenings watching whatever media, outlet that they happen to watch and, hear about the huge pro-Second Amendment rally that took place in fill-in-the-blank state. So, with that said, I think that, a lot of people don't have the ability to take off of work on a weekday to attend something like this. That was one of the biggest things that I heard from people who said they couldn't go. I don't have any sick days. I don't have any personal days. I don't have any vacation days that I can take. There wasn't enough notice up front, so, I needed more than 2 weeks to let my employer know. Unfortunately, this last go around, and I could be wrong about this too, but it seemed, I didn't hear about this until about 2 weeks before it happened. So I think having a much better heads up on something like this will go a long way. The weather was kind of terrible, at least here in Indianapolis it was, 30 degrees, winds at 20 miles per hour. It was cold as shit. Now, that's not going to prevent me from coming out next time. There could be a blizzard and I'd still be out there. However, I think, at least a month's advance notice would go a long way, if not more than that. So, I think we could also do a better job of getting the word out. Facebook is, it's an amazing thing. It gives us the opportunity to reach thousands, tens of thousands of people in a matter of moments. So, and I'm happy to do my part in sharing that as frequently as possible. Another thing I think that we could do would be notifying the media outlets at the time of inception of the rally and then again at the day or so before the rally takes place. Channel 6, Channel 8, Channel 13, and Fox 59 are all local media news stations here in Indiana. I think if these news stations are bombarded with phone calls and emails, talking about this pro-Second Amendment rally that's coming up, and they want to hear more about it and they want more information, I think that's going to encourage these news stations to do a little bit better job next time around. Another thing I think would be great is to also bombard the Indianapolis Star and the Southside Times. I think that will go a long way. The more people that read about it, the more people that hear about it, the more they're going to tell friends and family, and the more people are going to show up. This next idea is kind of, I don't know what the legalities are behind this. I don't know if there exists some ridiculous law that says this can't be done. I don't know if there are any loopholes, if in fact there are a law. Now, I didn't do a whole lot of research on this, and my hopes were that somebody out there would have a better idea or understanding of the law and how this might work. But I thought another good way to draw a lot of people out would be to have some sort of raffle, a drawing, if you will. You could charge for the raffle, but I think probably the best way to raise money for the raffle would be on a donation base. A dollar donation, minimum of $1. Some people are going to give more. Some people won't give anything because they just can't afford to do so, and that's fine. The winnings for a raffle like this, I thought would be really neat to do something like an NRA membership. Now I don't know what the NRA is doing currently, but I know there for a while they were running some sort of a special where you could do a lifetime membership for $300, which is the lifetime membership is normally around $1,000. So just an idea, guys. Like I said, it may not even be a possibility. One last thing I thought would be really neat to see more speakers this time. There was one guy, and I'm not sure who he was. He spoke, did a good job. The other guy was Q from Ingo. Did a fantastic job. Q is amazing. And I'd love to see Q speak again. A few other people that I'd really like to see speak next go around would be Corey and Erica from Range Time with Corey and Erica, Corey07 Inc. for you guys who haven't checked out their YouTube channel. Great videos. Also, Tim from Military Arms channel also has a really good YouTube channel with a lot of informative videos. Now, one thing I will say, this past time here on February 8th in Indianapolis, Tim from Military Arms channel as well as Corey and Erica spent a lot of time, I noticed, walking around, shaking hands with people, talking with people, having their picture taken with people. That goes a long way. And personally, I'd like to thank these guys, not that they watch my videos, but thank them for their time and spending time with the fans. And those guys are the local, anyways, celebrities for the Second Amendment here in Indiana. So either way, guys, let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment, send me a video response, whatever you think's appropriate. I really want to try to drum up some more people for this next rally. I think the more people we can get out, the better. The more benefits we'll get from having something like this. So, guys, until next time, take care, God bless, and be good.